pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bozak,
Here.
Commissioner Ensland,
Here.
Commissioner Loving,
Here.
Commissioner Scott,
Here.
Commissioner McCarty. Commissioner Ensland,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarty,
Yes.
Commissioner Bozak,
Yes.
Commissioner Loving.
Yes. Reports, Roseanne,
Nothing right now.
Angie.
Nope.
Brad.
Nothing.
Jennifer.
Nothing here.
Treasurer's not here. RDC Attorney Clay.
Nothing.
Engineer. CPC on the call. Michelle.
No, and then someone did respond to the email and say they had nothing from Global.
RDC consultant Carter Blue.
Good evening, everyone. Just a report on the Marquette Greenway project. Just overall, we are continuing to on phase 1A, which is the first, the section from the river towards Stanley Street. We are advancing the right of way, so the acquisition of the Macaulay property. So we're working through that process. We have on tonight's agenda the Avon Marsh contract. This was, if you recall, back in, I believe, May or June, was selected and approved by the board. We now have the INDOT contract language in front of you. It's my understanding that that attachment may not have reached all of you, but Attorney Patton did confirm that he and President Loving did receive that. So we'll have some action on that in just a moment. We are continuing also to coordinate closely with INDOT and NERC on phase 1A, just because we're up against some critical path issues as it relates to the timing of the project. So we're in communications to make sure everything stays on track with the state and the consultant team. We are still waiting final stage 3 approval on the design of that project. So that's what that communication relates to. On phase 2, which is the section, the 2 bookends of the Westport, we are working with Reeve Riley to develop the contract. Avon Marsh is overseeing that on behalf of the Redevelopment Commission. We had hoped to have that before you tonight, but we do not. So that was an agenda item down below that will need to table to next month. And let's see. And I did have some conversation just to check in on phase 3. So this is the next level section. There were some warranty items that Gary Up was coming back to do. And SCH is communicating with Gary Up. They did come out and do some work, but there's some follow-up work that needs to be done just to make sure that the quality is what the town desires and needs for the project. And then it's my understanding that the signaling at 149 may also be a warranty issue, but I believe the signal is working now, is my understanding. But we continue to monitor those items on that phase of the trail. We did kick off the coastal program, Marquette Greenway Corridor Management Plan. Tonight we have Jan Rubel here, who's our consultant who's leading it. He'll give you an update of what's going on and a reminder to come out to tomorrow's stakeholder event. I'm continuing to field some economic development opportunities. There are sites that businesses, those from within the state and outside of the state are interested in. So I'm just essentially coordinating some introductions and coordinating with the building commissioner and staff to kind of get the ball rolling, and then monitoring those depending on what the outcome might be. Let's see. Also on Marquette Greenway, just continuing to talk with NERC and National Park Service and other partners about the phase 1B, which is this section of the trail over Norfolk Southern to Porter. It does sound like Porter's going to be is considering pursuing dollars to complete their section of the trail that would allow a complete linkage into their community as well. So, I will conclude my report there.
Thank you, Tina. Mr. Schnabel is not here. Correspondence. So we have the Drive Clean Indiana Gold membership renewal. It's $2,000. So just to update, Drive Clean Indiana is designated by the U.S. Department of Energy, supports our nation's energy and economic security by building partnerships to advance domestic transportation fuels, energy efficient mobility systems, and fuel saving technologies and practices. That's how they build themselves. I would say that the president announced this afternoon the grants from the infrastructure bill for the electric charging station network throughout 35 states in the country. So I think that this is important that we're a part of this, just to make sure that Burns Harbor is on the list and high on the list for any federal dollars that may be able to come our way. So I would recommend approval of this membership.
So what is the benefit of the membership? To be on a list to be able to apply for grants?
This is us being a gold member of 2022 Drive Clean Indiana. So we're playing ball with the people who are working to get federal dollars directed to us.
And if I may just add to that, Drive Clean Indiana used to be known as South Shore Clean Cities. Over the past year, that organization, now called Drive Clean Indiana, was instrumental in leading when the state of Indiana received proceeds from the VW recall. Those monies went back into Indiana to focus on EV infrastructure. The town of Burns Harbor received a $9,000 grant for an electric charging station that will be integrated into the Westport development. So it was about a year, it's probably about 2 years now that we received that grant. And at that time is when we connected with the membership opportunity. So it's a nonprofit organization. They use these memberships to help support the larger network. So Drive Clean Indiana, that organization evolved out of a regional entity into a statewide entity to manage kind of EV infrastructure. So this membership just kind of elevates the town profile. It reinforces our brand of being the art of green living. And then again, it continues our partnership to not only maintain the EV grant we have now, but if there are additional funds that come available, we've expressed interest, we would want potentially other EV stations within Westport and or other key sites. And they do work with private business as well as the public sector. So they could work with some of the businesses along 20 as an example to put in EV infrastructure. So that's a little bit of the background on how this membership came to be.
And there's only just this one membership option, or are there different options?
There are different options. So I see that this is gold, so I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but I imagine there's a silver bronze.
I remember the conversation. This was right in the middle because this is the one we chose like 2 years ago. We didn't want to go platinum because it was like 5,000,
Okay.
but bronze was like 500, and it got you literally nothing. Got you a subscription to the newsletter.
So we
Yeah,
have
this
to
does-
just break it out, what is what?
This membership also does like our town logo gets advertised in some of their promotional materials. I don't have their membership renewal structure in front of me. I think that went to Jane directly. So.
This is just a renewal, so I don't think it's on here because it's renewing what we had last year. Hang on, I can pull it up. Okay, it's diamond, platinum, gold, silver, bronze, and associate. Diamond is 5,000, platinum 3,500, gold 2,000, and that's this
So
one.
what do they, I'm more worried about what do you get for that versus what the prices are, that's where are you at? You guys are getting the same one?
DriveCleanIndiana.org. I don't think this has changed since, really what drops off from gold to all the lower levels are, they promote Burns Harbor by having our link and our logo on everything. If you go any lower than gold, and I think that's, if I remember the conversation correctly, if you go below gold, you don't get your name on anything or your link on any of their websites.
Okay,
And then once you go to gold, you do.
okay.
And I think I remember
I
that's why we
I
settled on.
feel like I remember having that conversation too, I just didn't know if anything changed or, you know, sometimes you just renew things too.
Yeah.
And they may have
No,
changed.
this does not look like it's changed. It says revised January 2022, but I can't see anything.
So do you need a motion?
I do.
I move that we renew the membership in clean, what is it?
Drive Clean, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. For 1 year.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ensland,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Bozak,
Yes.
Commissioner McCarg,
Yes.
Commissioner Loving.
Yes. All right, old business, Market Greenway update. I know you kind of touched on all of these a little bit, Tina. Do you have anything to add to any of these? I know we need to move on the Evan Marsh contract, but
I did just forward that to the entire board, and it is in a NDOT standard template, so there's not much change to language that we can do. So tonight we would just, again, you've already awarded the contract to Almond Marsh. So now it's just needing signature, I think approval for signature on legal review.
Because it's set for your signature, right?
No, it should be Nick's signature.
no, it's got your,
Yeah, what you
We would
just,
not want that.
I was gonna ask about that because what,
I will contact Matt and have him. The signature page should be for Nick Loving.
yeah, so on page 17 of 38, they have you as the president and catalyst.
if you want to take over. You can, it pays a lot less.
That's within the contract,
Yeah.
not just the signature page. That was page 17 and,
Yeah, it's on the signature block.
okay. Yeah, that's not correct, and we'll revise that to reflect Nick Loving present.
Because I think even
So it didn't overthrow me, I'll go.
and I know you're having difficulty, Tina, you forwarded, it looks like you're thinking me the signature page, but there's no attachment.
I've got the whole thing.
But she's like at 3 minutes to 6, she forwarded you and me the signature page, but I don't see an attachment in that email. So what I'm getting at is I think that what you maybe intended to forward has, they may need to sign that again, because if your name is on that signature page.
Yeah, so I will circle back with Matt Kaiser, have him remove any reference to my name and insert Nick Loving. And we can do the signature on that review.
Okay.
Do we need any kind of board motion for Nick to sign it?
Yeah, we would need a motion to sign pending Clay's legal review.
It was sent yesterday. I had a chance to.
You did,
look at it. I mean, like, as Tina said, it's rather lengthy, but still kind of a standard form. State form. I mean, it even has a, the version from June of 2017. It's NDOT, correct?
It is.
Yeah. And, it's for a set amount for a set period of time. Through December of 23. There's, it's not auto renewal, there's not, venue out of state, because they have in March, as you may recall, even though they have a local office, they're headquartered in Michigan, but venue is in the state of Indiana. So as long as you're fine with the amounts and the scope of work.
And that we already agreed to.
Yes.
So, okay.
Make a motion for Nick to sign our Marsh contract.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call please.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Ensland,
Yes,
Commissioner McCarr,
Yes.
Commissioner Bozak,
Yes.
Commissioner Levin.
Yes.
So the next item is the phase 2 construction contract with Reeve Riley. Again, that's not before us this evening. However, it most likely will be delivered prior to the next RDC meeting. So again, this project was bid out. You awarded it to Reeve Riley. It's a fixed amount. Do you guys, what is the will of the board in terms of approval upon legal review?
Yeah.
That would enable us to begin the project work prior to next meeting, so. What is
So I would ask for a motion for permission to sign that pending Clay's legal review and pending that it financially falls within what we've already approved.
okay, I move that we allow the president to sign it pending legal review and pending that it falls within our financial parameters.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call please.
Commissioner Ensland,
Yes,
Commissioner McCarr,
Yes.
Commissioner Bozak,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Levin.
Yes. All right, next one is John.
Yeah, so as Tina mentioned, we did start our stakeholder interviews yesterday. We had, we had the Indiana Dunes Tourism, National Park Service, the town porter was here, SEH, Shirley Hines, Northwest Indiana Paddle Association, and then the DNR, Lake Michigan Coastal Program representative was here too. And Tina and I started talking to her about maybe even the next line of grants, which the next grant cycle for Lake Michigan Coastal was, I think, pre-application was in October. So there might be some projects that come out of this master plan report we're doing. So maybe some spur trails to move work up towards the dam, or maybe some additional planning work as far as marketing, branding goes too, that we kind of picked our brains on what might be grant opportunities for the town. And Tina and I are going to rally back a little bit more on those. So I don't know if you have anything more to update on that discussion.
No.
But then, yeah, we had some good discussions with the other groups, so kind of understanding, kind of like what National Park Service is looking to do, town porter, kind of that, phase 1B, that's been discussed here. And then kind of starting to develop some overall strategies for the corridor and understanding what are the unique amenities. One of the things walking with Lorelei at Tourism, she thought one of the most unique opportunities for Burns Harbor for the Marquette Greenway was the proximity of the blueways to the greenways. That meaning you being really close to the Little Calumet River with the Marquette Greenway. Some great fishing opportunities there, some great kayaking opportunities. That is really very different than some of your other surrounding communities that are something that could be leveraged going forward. So, so some great discussions yesterday, and then tomorrow we'll have Save the Dunes, DNR's ecological group, along with another ecologist who did an assessment of Orbis, who did an assessment of the current area over there. Avon Marsh, Dunes Learning, and Cleveland Cliffs are all kind of on our schedules for tomorrow too. But you know, we're open, so you know, these meetings are, you know, not closed doors. So if there's any opportunities you guys have to join in, just you know, hear what the discussions are, or you know, give your own input on what you'd like to see the vision of Marquette Greenway be. You know, what can it expand to, and you know, what are maybe your concerns going forward with just kind of taking care of it.
What time do these start?
We're gonna be here at 8 o'clock tomorrow, and then from 8 to 10, normally whatever group is here, we kind of just do a little walking tour to get a sense of lay of the land. But in the fire department meeting room, we'll be kind of in meetings in there from roughly 10 to 1 o'clock, and then from 2 till, let's say, we're scheduled till about 4 right now. But if somebody needs to meet a little bit later, please let Tina and I know, and we can stick around too, so.
I think you're safe if you want to drop in at the top of the hour, but you know, at any moment that if you have where you can just drop in, we can certainly adapt and have conversation with you. It's really important, as John has mentioned, that we hear from town leadership and staff, because you know, a lot of this is the operation and maintenance. So the long term, how do we pay for it? Which is the big question. So that's really where your expertise and understanding where the town is, where it wants to go, you know, what are those fiscal challenges, what are staffing challenges, how might partnerships help the town leverage its resources and get more, you know, bang for the buck or something like that. And I think we're also meeting with representatives from Lindy as well tomorrow, so.
Cleveland Cliffs tomorrow, Lindy is, I believe, next Tuesday, so we're going to follow up next Tuesday with City of Portage, Lindy, and
What time are you doing it next Tuesday?
Tuesday's kind of scattered throughout the day. Tuesday, I think we're meeting actually in Portage with Portage at 9 o'clock, and then off the top of my head, I want to say it was noon or 1 that we're meeting with Lindy.
Yeah.
And then 2 o'clock was with Save the Dunes later on that Tuesday. So Tuesday we weren't necessarily planning on like, we're doing this week of like posting up there all day. But if you want to, you know, please reach out to Tina and I. We'd be happy to just do a one-on-one meeting virtually, in person, some other times that fit within your schedule too.
And if you'd like, I think we could probably PDF the schedule, just draft of how it is. So if there's a particular stakeholder that you might want to sit in with, you can do that as well.
Well, I don't want to interrupt you. Why don't you go ahead with your thing, and I'll say my piece at the end of it, so.
Well, excuse me, no, that was it essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since we have a little time, I'm not sure that I can be there tomorrow. My big thing is on, yeah, that's the west side of 149, the trail that's already built. There's a couple of areas that look like they were at one time cleared fields. You know, in other words, the forest was cut back and they were cleared for some sort of agriculture. You know, I guess, and I don't want an answer from you tonight or whatever. I'm just putting this into your head. All right, what do we do with those fields? I mean, I don't want to be bush hogging those fields twice a year to keep woody growth, you know, in other words, to freeze them in time like they are now. Do we rewild those? Do we let nature take its course and let them reforest naturally? Or do we plant a forest? there, you know, and of course, that's all gotta be done in conjunction with, you know, Shirley Hines has got property next door to us and the National Lake Shore and, you know, what are native plants and do we plan for global warming and all that other kind of stuff. But my point is, one, we kind of want to, this is just me, all right, because we haven't discussed this. We kind of want to be eco-friendly and reforest things if they were not forest before white settlers came here. But we also want to not get into, like I say, a big maintenance bill where we have to, you know, have a tractor dedicated to mowing something, you know, twice a year. So, you know, if it's reforestation, how do we do that? You know, what's the best way to do that? If it's, or rewilding, or you know, whatever the terms are. How do we do it so that the cost to the town is not outrageous every year?
Absolutely, and we had a lot of discussions on that yesterday. So part of our project, we're looking at kind of an ecological framework plan for the whole, it's called the Greenway Corridor. So it's, you know, not just what's adjacent to the trail, but it's the other lands that are around here. So in our report, we're gonna look at several options, like just those options you discussed, and each one, as you just said, has different capital costs, different maintenance costs, and all that associated with it. Now, so then there's some, you know, decision, we'll help you to be able to make those decisions of which way you want to move forward. On top of that, I think that there's also some uniqueness of potential partnerships for management. So, you know, playing a scenario that maybe Shirley Hines, you know, manage some more of the vegetation on the property that the town currently owns for that. Maybe that results in a different strategy of landscape restoration too. So depending on the partners and everything, there might be a few different scenarios, and we'll try to lay all those out and help you kind of try to make a, you know, decision which way the best way is going forward. And it might be a combination of different strategies on different stretches of the trail too.
Yeah, well, that's what, I guess that's what I'm kind of putting you on notice for, is that's what I will be looking for in a report, you know, is those kind of options, so that we aren't stuck.
Sure, no, absolutely, and I think that's one of our strong as landscape architects, knowing kind of the greater landscape, the ecology of the area, and then working with all the experts around here too, the National Park Service, DNR, Orbis, who's done some ecological assessment out here too. And, you know, that's why we grab these stakeholders together and understand what are the best options and then present those.
Well, and I mean, there could be educational
Absolutely.
benefits from this if we, whatever, you know, if we plant basically a new forest, that could be studied, you know, with even for school groups and whatnot, and marked. And if we allow it to naturally rewild, you know, then that too could be something for school groups and whatnot to study.
Yeah.
A good lab, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, yeah, and, you know, part of our process too is, you know, talking to, you know, the stakeholders, other groups, schools, other industries around here is, you know, how can we help gain efforts for, you know, managing this long term, and then also, you know, there's some great research potential out here. Does that help make VU or Purdue or somebody a partner out here, which maybe opens up other things too? So I think that's, you know, certainly things that we're looking at too with this.
good, thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Good points, Brett. Old business number 2. Westport PUD update.
Yeah, so we've been coordinating a meeting between ourselves and Holiday Property, and so it looks like that'll happen in the next few days. If not Friday, I would anticipate early next week we'll be able to talk with them about the master development agreement and kind of the development finance for the project.
And number 3, PR plan update.
Yes, so I don't have the draft plan delivered for you at this meeting. But as John Rubel mentioned in our conversation with Coastal Program, as part of that grant project, we were talking about, some of the possibilities for funding. And during that conversation, the Smart Pet Greenway is a big story to tell, going to Commissioner Enslin's desire to make sure that, we're elevating the town of Burns Harbor in traditional media and social media, but really we want people to know that we're here. We want to be able to leverage big things that are going on, like the Double Truck Project and Market Greenway or other initiatives. We want to show that we're present and strategic location to be connected to these things. So one option that we could potentially explore is it may be possible for us to have a conversation with DNR Coastal Program about maybe some focused under their public outreach and education bucket. We may be able to craft some kind of marketing strategy where the Redevelopment Commission could engage a marketing and branding firm that could come in and really help define what are the themes, what are the audiences, and kind of give us some of the tools that would really help us elevate the Marquette Greenway story here within Burns Harbor, show how it is contributing to the well-being of community life here, but then strategically how it connects with all that's happening within tourism and economic development and so forth. So that is one action item that I feel kind of resulted out of the stakeholder conversation, and it might be something that we can have a side conversation with Coastal Program, but not take away from any larger project opportunities that might be a potential through our partners. So my question is something like that of interest to the Redevelopment Commission for me to have that conversation, and potentially the Coastal Program is a 50-50 match for something like that. But is this something we would want to entertain under kind of this marketing PR? I'm just curious if that's feels aligned to what the need is.
I would say I'm interested in exploring all options. So yes.
And again, we would be crafting something to fit in with Marquette Greenway, kind of playing off this planning process and things like that. But so we couldn't necessarily we would have a narrow scope to work within, is just making sure that that's clear.
Questions on that? Okay. New business number 1, financial incentivization business inquiries.
So we actually had a local business that reached out regarding interest in whether or not the Redevelopment Commission had funds available through the financial incentivization policy to support the opening of the new business. So I don't think today I want to disclose the business directly, but this was brought up probably about a year ago. So there's the two things I would want direction on is, one issue. In the past, we had budgeted for a facade grant program. So this was like, I think we had kind of couched out $10,000 to start a facade grant program to new businesses so that they could, improve the external look and feel of their business and be aligned with the town standards. So I believe that this firm is interested potentially in that. We have not created that program, so that would be something new to start. So my first question is, yeah, we didn't have interest at the time, although there was some support from that previous commission to go in that direction. So as a starting point tonight, I'm interested to know whether or not the board today is interested in activating a facade grant program.
Is this for an existing business or is this for a new business?
It is for a new business, and the business, so the new business has lined up SBA funding to support, they've bought the property, they've made some improvements already to it. So they must be working with the town already.
So there is a building.
There is a building, they've already purchased the land, they've already done some improvements, but they're finalizing the SBA loan, which is, going off memory is, so that loan would support, the expansion of the development of their business. So they were looking for whether or not the town had any resources to kind of offset the loan or, so. My main curiosity is whether or not we want to explore creating a facade grant program, if that's an interest or not. If not, then I can just go back and say that that program's not going, that that's not a priority at this time. And then the second piece is, depending on the size of their business, in our incentivization policy, they may qualify for like a tax abatement and that kind of thing. So I just want to know which kind of.
I would say, speaking for myself, I'm open to talking about anything, but I don't want to talk about hypotheticals. So I would want to see that person sitting in that chair specifically laying out what they want. And then I think we can talk about that. So I would say once they're ready, once their SBA loan is through and they're ready to make themselves public, then we'll have a conversation.
And my thoughts with regards to a facade program, you should probably have that, enacted with some, perhaps through town codes, since you're spending town money.
Yeah.
And have a process in place, and I just don't see that being done in time if they're, in the process with SBA applications. I know a lot of communities have facade improvement, grants that are given out with various conditions, and people have to maintain their property for so long, otherwise there's some clawback. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. You decide how much you want to budget for the program and how much you're gonna, give out. And because I know a lot of communities, it's, kind of first come, first served for a year. So everyone's applying for them in January, February, and sometimes, by the middle of the year, it's all gone.
Well, that's helpful. Just again, we've not had a local business kind of pursue this, direct request for assistance. Normally we get, larger firms from outside of the area, site selectors coming to ask about our program. So this is more of a grassroots, this is a resident owner business. And so I can continue to work with President Loving on this particular prospect and then bring more to you at a future meeting, should we want to pursue more.
Good. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Tina. Thanks, Richard. Discussion? Roll call please.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Ensland,
Yes,
Commissioner McCarr,
Yes.
Commissioner Bozak,
Yes.
Commissioner Loving.
Yes. Approval of financial report for the month of August 2022.
Who did what?
Motion, second.
There, second.
Discussion. Yeah. Jerry.
Buzzer.
Roll call please.
Commissioner Ensland,
yes,
Commissioner McCarr,
Yes.
Commissioner Bozak,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Loving.
Yes. Good of the order.
I know at the last meeting you decided not to go this direction, but in the event that you decide you would like to at least ask somebody to do that PR position, I know of somebody who would be professionally aligned with it and would potentially do it for free. So
Can you send me their info?
I can.
I'd love to talk to whoever this person is.
And they're just out of another obligation that was very involved that they did for free. Also, so I can. Good time to strike.
That took me so long.
Can you send me an email? Thank you. Anybody else? Good of the order. Entertaining the motion of all motions.
Motion to adjourn.
second,
Brad got it. Discussion? Roll call please.
Commissioner Bozak,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Ensland,
yes.
Commissioner McCarr,
Yes.
Commissioner Loving.
Yes. We're adjourned.